Hello everybody, I'm Rusty. I want to welcome you to Island Breeze Tropicals. So today we're going to be answering one of your questions. So you know what? The sun is shining, the island breeze is blowing. It's time that you and I got growing. Come on, let's have some fun and let's answer one of your questions. So I'm really excited about today's video because it's going to involve you guys. Now, I love your comments and I love your questions, and here's where you put them. Look, right down there. And I hope that you will continue to ask questions, and from time to time, I want to answer some of those questions in a video. So today's question is from Marilou, and she asked the question, how can I make my Aechmea Blur Tango come into flower? Okay, so the question was specifically about an Aechmea Blur Tango, and Marilou wanted to know how to get it to come into flower. But why don't we go into just some basics first? And the first basic is, if you have a neoregelia, it's not going to get an inflorescence like this. So the first thing is that if you have a neoregelia like this, it is not going to get an inflorescence like this. It's going to stay down in the cup. So in case you haven't seen some of the videos that we have done on neoregelia, this is what an inflow on a neo looks like. And as you can see, it stays right down there in the cup, and it never gets any higher than this. But Marilou asked specifically about an Aechmea Blur Tango, and guys, I don't have any here, but it gets an aerial inflorescence like this, Bilbergia Black Cherry. So we don't have an Aechmea Blur Tango here, but I do have this Bilbergia Black Cherry, and as you can see, it's got a beautiful inflorescence. And we're going to ask the question, what does this plant need in order to have this beautiful inflow that you're seeing right here? And so why don't we ask the question, what does a bromeliad need to come into its flowering sequence? So the first thing we're going to ask is your bromeliad mature enough to flower? Genetically, your bromeliad has got to be a certain age to do that. Young bromeliads don't have enough energy in order to produce an inflorescence. So genetically, your plant, in order to get this, has got to be mature enough. So we're going to assume that your plant is healthy and you're taking good care of it. But we have to remember what this bromeliad really is, and it's an autotroph. Bromeliads, like all green plants, make their own food using sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, and chlorophyll. Now, it uses the carbohydrate that it manufactures using those four constituents to do everything, to make a root system, to make leaves, to grow, to make pups, and to make an inflorescence. Now, this inflorescence reproduction is the biggest energy expenditure for any plant, and it has to use stored energy in the form of carbohydrate to do that. So why don't we say that your plant has a carbohydrate bank account, and its job is to put money in the form of carbohydrate in that bank account. So as long as the plant gets everything that it needs, it puts money in its bank account in the form of carbohydrate. And day after day, it puts more carbohydrate in that bank account. But it also has to pay some things out to make leaves and to make roots and to make new plants. So what happens if one of the things that it needs isn't there, and it only has a little bit of carbohydrate in the bank account, and it uses all of it up to make leaves and roots and offsets, and the bank account is empty? Okay, so we have the basics. We know what the plant has to do in order to fill its carbohydrate bank account. And it needs those 4 things that we just talked about: sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, and chlorophyll. So we're guessing, because I know you guys take care of your plants, it has enough water. I'm guessing that it has enough carbon dioxide and probably has enough chlorophyll. That only leaves one thing. And that one thing is sunlight. And if your plant, if your bromeliad doesn't get enough sunlight, it's not going to make enough carbohydrate for that carbohydrate bank account to enable it to make this inflorescence. And it will not do it. It will wait until it has enough energy in order to reproduce. So it sounds really, really easy, and it is. All you have to do is introduce your bromeliad to more light. Now, we need to be careful. My guess is that if your bromeliad has not had enough sunlight, well, it's growing in the shade, and if it's growing in the shade, you don't want to just bump it in to bright sunlight. Give it some gradual time to acclimate, but give it more bright indirect light first. Now, it's going to take it a while. Remember, it's got a job. It has to use that job to make more money, carbohydrate, so it's going to take it a while. So you're not going to have overnight results. But I'm guessing that if you give it enough time and you give the plant everything it needs, especially sunlight, you're going to be able to get a beautiful inflorescence just like this Bilbergia black cherry. So anyway, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed learning what your bromeliad needs to have an inflorescence. And once again, thanks to Marilou for her great question. And I would love for you guys to comment either with a suggestion or a question. Now, I'll always try to answer them, but I'd like to be able to share them with all of us. We've got a great community going on, and it's growing all the time. And I want you to be a part of it. So no matter where you are, I hope your sun is shining. I hope you have an island breeze blowing. I know that you need to keep growing, have lots of fun. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.